Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour two, last hour of the week here, Hunt Palmer Show, in the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. That means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. We got a lot to do. LSU women's basketball got a victory last night. They'll play again on Sunday. LSU men's basketball back at it tomorrow early. If you missed noon Central Time in Columbia, that game was supposed to be at 5 Central Time in Columbia, but because of snowy conditions potentially in South Carolina, they've moved things up to noon, so we'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward as well. I want to start with some football. ESPN put together, well, let's see who wrote the piece. Max Olson put together a list of the top 100 transfers in college football, 1 through 100. And obviously, as I look at that, I'm going to go, I bet LSU's pretty prominently featured in that. And that would be correct. 8 times LSU was featured in the top 100. 3 times in the top 6 in this list. The number 1 player in the nation, according to Olsen and ESPN, Brendan Sorsby, who, of course, visited LSU, will play for Texas Tech next year. Cincinnati quarterback. I really liked what I saw on tape from Brendan Sorsby and was hopeful when he came on his visit, but he went to Texas Tech, and LSU pivoted and landed the number 3 player, according to ESPN in the transfer portal. That, of course, is Sam Leavitt. I'll be honest, I've got some pretty high hopes for Leavitt this coming year. I know about the injury, but to me, he looks like an ideal fit for what Lane Kiffin wants to do. Is he a run-first quarterback? No, and I don't think Lane wants that. He is a very mobile quarterback who's very capable of getting 11 yards on 3rd and 11 for a first down, who's very capable of busting a 20-yard run up the middle for a touchdown, who's very capable of extending a play and letting one of these speedy wide receivers create separation down the field. He's got a big arm. He's won big games. He's won a conference championship. He's played in a playoff against great defense, and he's a guy that I have really high hopes for, and most agree. 24/7 agrees, On3 agrees, ESPN agrees. Just a matter of whether or not he stays healthy. And I'm hopeful on that front. Just behind Leavitt, number 4, Jordan Seaton comes in. And I wanted to read the scout's take on Seaton because obviously you've seen a lot of folks very, very high on the former Colorado tackle. It says Seaton possesses rare range and mobility for his size. He's an aggressive run blocker with the quickness to reach linebackers and pull. His quickness, foot speed, and frame make him an effective zone blocker. He drives defenders and blocks to the whistle once in position. Still needs to refine his hand technique and some of the things he does as a run blocker, but he will make his money on Sundays protecting the QB. He's smooth kicking out of his pass set, meeting edge rushers. He can shoot his hands, lock on, and stay in the front. He's athletic, can bend, and possesses the trait to get better in pass protection. Seaton is a potential first-round pick with more consistency. That's what you need at left tackle. Somebody who can keep your quarterback upright. We think that Lane Kiffin is going to create open space for the wide receivers. We think Sam Leavitt is a capable passer. None of that matters if your quarterback's on his backside. Seaton is the guy to make sure that doesn't happen. Speaking of that, you go to the number 6 player in the country in terms of these rankings, Prince Will Uman-Mielen. He's the one in charge of making sure other quarterbacks don't have any time. And they like him. There are a lot of really good players on this list. And so for LSU to have 3, 4, and 6, 3 of the top 6 with Uman-Mielen speaks volumes. I figured those would be the first 3. I was curious what they thought about the rest. And the next on this list from an LSU perspective is a guy that I've been super high on since he committed. I've told you this on the air. I like his production at a previous stop. I like his fit in the defense, no matter where they put him, whether it's at star or at safety. It is Ty Benefield from Boise State. He comes in at number 34 on this list of the top 100 transfers. I just think this guy is an immediate impact star. A lot of the guys, there are 42 players in this transfer hall. A lot of them will never help LSU. That's just the nature of the beast. at the state the roster was in, specifically wide receiver, specifically offensive line, specifically quarterback, you were going to bring in guys who weren't going to play. That's just the way it had to be. You had no depth. You can't play with Phillip Wright as your only wide receiver. And then you can't go get 3 more for a 4 wide receiver set and just call it a day. So they went and got 9, and they signed 3 more in the high school ranks. And they got 12 plus Phillip Wright. That's 13. 13 guys can't play. You had to bring in depth, obviously, but you had to bring in stars. I think Benefield could be a star. I think he's a great fit to what LSU's trying to do, and I agree with ESPN for ranking him as high as they do at 34. Got to go down to number 70 for the next one, but this is the guy I think that is the most impactful wide receiver that LSU brought in. I mentioned they brought in 9. Jace Brown from Kansas State. Smooth route runner, big play threat, good enough size, about 6'1", and productive in the Big 12. I like Jace Brown. I think he is LSU's number 1 wide receiver target next year. I like a number of the guys they brought in at wide receiver, including 2 of the guys we'll talk about later on this list. But I think Jace Brown is going to lead LSU in catches and receiving yards this coming year. Trey Green, they got him in touchdowns, and that's great because he's awesome. But in terms of wide receivers, I like Jace Brown. He comes in at 70 on this list. Right behind him is a guy that I'm not going to speak in the same glowing terms about. Not because he doesn't have potential. He's got worlds of it. The potential hasn't added up yet, though. It's Jordan Ross. Now, I'm going to swim upstream on this one a little bit, but don't misunderstand me. When you talk to Joe LSU fan who loves recruiting, who loves the portal, who loves Lane Kiffin, who loves the Tigers, and you say, what about Jordan Ross? The first thing Joe LSU fan is going to say is 5-star, pass rusher, stud. I hope so. What I would say is, well, he played 2 years at Tennessee, didn't do a lot of rushing the passer. I'm not telling you he won't rush the passer. I hope he has 11 sacks. I'm telling you he hasn't rushed the passer. I like Ty Benefield because he's made 210 tackles. I like Jordan Seaton because he's played left tackle and graded out exceptionally well. I like Sam Levitt because he quarterbacked a playoff team. I like the proven thing. The upside's fun. I like the upside. I don't hate the upside. But if it's only upside, it's when I start to look and go, we sure? And with Jordan Ross, it is only upside. But it's enough upside for the recruiting services to say he's a 5-star and for ESPN to put him at number 71 on this list. Hopeful, not settled on Jordan Ross on the edge. And the last 2 are receivers. Number 78, Winston Watkins. I wrote about Winston Watkins yesterday on LouisianaSports.net. You can read it for free. I'm breaking down every transfer LSU brings in. And I think he's a great fit for Kiffin's offense. Kiffin thought that as well. He's undersized. He's 5'9", 5'10", but he's really fast. He's really quick, and he finds space very well. And if you see the highlights, he was not a go-to guy for Ole Miss as a freshman last year, but he made some big plays. Had 2 huge plays in the Oklahoma game. That's a good Oklahoma defense. He made 2 huge plays. Lane Kiffin likes speed on the outside. He likes guys that can exploit the space and indecision that his offense creates. His offense is there to create indecision. That's what the tempo's for. That's what the formations are for. That's what the concepts are for, to create safeties and corners and linebackers that don't know exactly where they're supposed to be, and then how do you make that hurt? Speed. Watkins has it. He's 78 on this list, 82 on this list, 4 spots behind him, Trey Wilson from Florida. Now, I like Trey Wilson a lot. He's a 5-star. You said Jordan Ross didn't care about 5 stars. Well, Trey Wilson, when he was healthy, was a freshman All-American. Trey Wilson, in his last game at Florida, torched Georgia. I've seen more from Trey Wilson than I have from Jordan Ross, and the stuff I've seen from Trey Wilson has been awesome if he's been healthy. He's healthy right now. So that's your 8 guys on this list that ESPN really likes, and obviously I do too. It's Levitt at 3, Seaton at 4, Prince Will Umanmielen at 6. Then you go down to 34 for Ty Benefield, Jace Brown, Kansas State wide receiver at 70, Jordan Ross, former Tennessee edge rusher at 71, Winnie Watkins 78, Trey Wilson at 82. 8 players for LSU named to the top 100 transfers. It's going to be a very, very impactful class. How impactful? We'll just have to see. As I mentioned in the previous segment before we broke for the hour. One thing after I made my notes on the LSU guys, and said I'll talk about that first and foremost, what's Clemson bringing in? Here's your answer. None. None of the top 100. Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. I think LSU's strategy will pay off better. I like this transfer portal class. ESPN very much does as well. So does On3. So does 24/7. So does Lane Kiffin. I think it's going to be a pretty damn strong team in 2026. At least we're all hopeful of that. If you want to read that piece, you can over at ESPN.com. We still got 45 minutes to go here on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Kim Mulkey's team got a win last night. LSU men on the floor tomorrow, women's on the floor on Sunday. Talk a little bit of hoops as we wind down on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The high tomorrow is 37. You want to play golf? Be my guest. I love it. But most of you think 35, 32, 37. I don't think so. What if I gave you another option? Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. You can play Pebble Beach tomorrow. It'll be sun shining. You can get a bucket of beer delivered in there, crank some tunes up in your individual bay. They got the couches set up, the television's there. Pretty nice little Saturday. Go by and see him. Segan at Perkins. Play Pebble Beach. Turn on the driving range setting. Bring 5 friends. Go by yourself. Bring your kiddo. Get him out of the house. It's an awesome, awesome way to enjoy some golf when the elements just won't allow it. And you could play tomorrow in the 35-degree temps, or you could go to Swing Easy Golf Club. Book a tee time at swingeasygcbr.com or just stop in at Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Working towards the weekend here. Appreciate you hanging with us. LSU and South Carolina men's basketball moved from 5 o'clock Central to noon Central tomorrow. You'll have to stream it to watch it because these two teams, not so good. South Carolina's horrible. Horrible. And they came into the PMAC and just blitzed LSU. We're up 28 points. Let me tell you about South Carolina briefly. I'm not going to break this game down too much. This is going to take 6 minutes. But I looked it up and wrote some stuff down. South Carolina's 11-10. They're 2-6 in the league. That's better than LSU's 1-7 mark. And they won in the PMAC. So you would suggest South Carolina's better than LSU. They beat them and they got a game up on them in the standings. Sure. South Carolina's 6 league losses are by a total of 124 points. LSU has one more loss, 7 losses, and their combined losses are by 61, less than half. South Carolina lost by 12, 33, 23, and wait for it, 47 on Wednesday. Florida went in there and treated them like a church league team. They're awful. They're 109th in offensive efficiency. They're 285th in the country in three-point percentage. This team that came into your building in the first half and went 10 out of 13 from 3 is 285th in the country in three-point percentage. They're awful. You let Elijah Strong come into the PMAC. In 25 minutes of work, he dropped 30 points on 10 of 15 shooting, made all 4 of his threes, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Larry Bird showed up in the PMAC. This is going to sound ridiculous, and I'm not even picking LSU to win the game. I'm not even doing it. I'm not picking LSU to win the game. They should definitely win this game. I'm not picking. South Carolina will win the game. Is that a good enough pick for you? South Carolina will win the game. I'll pick that. There's no reason South Carolina should win the game. They are terrible. Now LSU is not any good either. Close losses don't mean anything. They're 1-7, and I gave you the eulogy yesterday. So we're not going to break this thing down any further than that. You go over there and you fight for your life and try to win a game. I told you this yesterday during the eulogy. I'm going to be pulling for him. I'm going to be watching. I'm taking Myers Man out of the house for a little bit in the morning because it's 37 degrees and he'll go nuts if he sits in the living room for 4, 5, 6 hours straight. So we're going to go do something. I'll be back by noon and I will watch and I will have a write-up on LouisianaSports.net. I'll have a preview of the game too. But know that that's not some sort of false hope. That's not where I am. I've resigned to the fact of where we are. Doesn't mean when the purple and gold comes running out of the tunnel on the TV that I'm not going to pull for them. It's in the DNA. It's a different vibe than a bowl game. The bowl game, I just can't conjure up because I don't think anyone's trying. None of the coaches are there. None of the players are there. I'm hurt. I'm opting out. I'm going to the NFL. I'm opting out. I'm transferring. I'm opting out. I'm just not going to play in that. And I got a quarterback that's a wide receiver. I don't care about the bowl game. A basketball game that actually counts in a season that has more than half of its league games left, I'm going to emotionally invest in for some reason. I don't have the ability to turn that off. If you have, good on you. But I hope they go beat South Carolina. If they don't beat South Carolina, I'm going to have to talk about it on Monday. I know. South Carolina was up 28 in the PMAC. I was there. Literally watched it. Went to the postgame. Promise you. I know it happened. I don't have a great explanation for it, but I know it happened. We'll see what they can do. Meanwhile, Kim Mulkey's team is rolling a little bit, and that's a good thing for that group that got off to a bumpy start in league play, and you had to criticize the non-conference schedule to do it. We talked to Matthew Bruni about it yesterday, but they lose to Kentucky by a bucket at home. Heck of a shot late in that game from the left wing for the Cats, and then go up to Nashville and get beat by 4 by a pair of teams that were ranked in the top 12 at the time, and since then beat Georgia by 21, beat Texas by 5, who was ranked second at the time, thumped Oklahoma in Norman, top 15 team in Norman by 19 points. Then you went to College Station. They're not any good. You showed that. You beat them by 44. And then against Florida at home, not very good, but you beat them by 29. So they're cooking. They're really good offensively. The Arkansas game was another impressive effort in the PMAC. They win that game by 22. Now you take on a ranked Alabama team on Sunday morning in the PMAC. Sure, they'll have a great crowd in there for that. And you should win that game before things get really interesting for the next 3 at Texas, at Auburn, and then you welcome South Carolina to the PMAC. Is that Super Bowl Sunday? No, it's the Sunday. It's Saturday. Saturday after. Got that Saturday night game against South Carolina. That'll be all eyes on the PMAC for that one. So good on Kim for getting that team playing well after a bumpy run there at the beginning. Offensively, they're just explosive, and that's been – you know that Kim is going to get the defense figured out. She always does. That's her side of the ball that she just demands excellence from. But to get the offense cooking the way it is, Flau'jae and Michaela are going to do their thing, but to get Jada Richard playing the way she is, it's been a heck of a go for him. And we talked to Bruni about it. He's better on this than me. I can't even fake knowing what's going on in the Southeastern Conference outside of South Carolina, Texas, few others. I can't give you much on Ole Miss or Missouri, and I certainly can't give you much on UConn. But Bruni thinks they're a threat. They're a threat. That's a good thing for Kim Mulkey and that squad there in Baton Rouge. I think they're outperforming what people thought after that bad start to 0-2. So there's your basketball look here on this Friday as we chug along. I want to tell you about our friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You can check them out online. It's at FabryChevrolet.com. Hey, might be time to get a new ride, right? New year, new ride. Maybe your lease is up. Maybe it's just time. Fabry Chevrolet GMC has got a great inventory, and you can see every car in that inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you're looking for Chevy Silverado, want a new truck, they got it. Maybe you're looking at a Denali or a Yukon on the GMC side. Saw one on the road, thought it looked great. Check it out at FabryChevrolet.com. You're going to get great customer service with the Fabry family. You're going to get an incredible buying experience. They've been proving that to you for 35 years in this community. And they're so thrilled to have a Chevrolet GMC point in St. Francisville on Highway 61. If you're up there in Point Capee, if you're up there in one of the Felicianas, it's right there. If you're East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, just north of town in Baker, Scotlandville, right there. It's a short drive up Highway 61 in St. Francisville. See my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at fabrychevrolet.com. We've still got 35 minutes to go here on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Come back with a little bit more next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks you love age. If there's someone in your life that is aging that you think the bathroom could be a hazardous situation for, you cannot eliminate that risk. You can mitigate it. Non-slip floors, showers that allow you to have a bench, walk-in tubs for comfort, safety, convenience, and you can get guardrails if there are some slippery areas. These are things that David Duvall and his team do all the time that not everyone thinks of. That's something, when I had that conversation with David about these services he provides initially, he was like, yeah, this is something we do a lot, but people don't think about it because they don't know that it exists. It does. So if there's someone in your life that's aging and you want to talk about what you may be able to do, just have the conversation with David. That doesn't cost anything. Go to onebathandclosets.com, request that free consultation. Know that financing is available as well. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online, onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Chugging along here on this Friday. Got about 30 minutes to go here. Appreciate you hanging out with us. I want to talk a little bit about high school recruiting. I'm very curious to watch this staff work. And I'm very curious to see how they attack both the high school ranks and the portal ranks. It's a new staff on the offensive side especially. It's a new era. There are new rules in terms of financial commitments and the way that you're able to do those things. And I'm just fascinated by how Lane Kiffin wants to allocate his resources and his time in building rosters. I'm watching what they're doing right now, and there was a time where you knew what the LSU head coach was going to do. He was going to come in, scour the state, sink every available resource into New Orleans and Lafayette and Shreveport and Monroe over to Lake Charles and try to get as many of the top 10 kids in the state as you possibly could, work Houston hard, work East Texas hard, get some out of Florida, some out of Georgia, and then one out of Mississippi or two. And that's like basically it. Like that was what it was forever when it was done right. And is that still the way you want to do it? Do you want to sign 25 high schoolers? Do you want to sign 14 high schoolers? Because high schoolers have a pretty high probability of leaving. I don't have a right or wrong. I have my feelings on it. I think for an LSU football coach to neglect high school recruiting in the state of Louisiana would be a huge mistake. And it's clear Lane Kiffin is not. He came here because Nick Saban told him, Lane, this is the best job in football. I inferred that from Lane's introductory press conference. Then Lane said it. So we know that's the phone call that was made. And when Nick said that, he was talking about the high school kids, the monopoly you have in the state, the passion and the backing and the history and the stadium and the facilities and all of that. But Nick didn't coach in the revenue sharing area, period. He never had to deal with that. Nick never had to fight over roster funds with the women's basketball coach. He never had to fight with the baseball coach. Now, I don't know how much Lane is. I don't know how much Verge is going to allocate moving forward, but there is no debate that it's a different world than Nick Saban coached it. And I think we'll get a grip in the first 2 years of what Lane Kiffin's plans are with recruiting. You saw him pull in 42 portal kids, and you go, well, it's clear he's going to go portal. He only signed 14 high school kids. He signed 42 portal kids. It's portal. This is a unique circumstance. It's his first year on the job. It's his first week on the job when he could sign the high school kids. So that doesn't count. I want to see what he does for the long haul. And if it were me, I would be signing 20, 22 high school kids every year with heavy Louisiana roots. There's always going to be Lance Hurd and Walker Howard and Ahmad Bro and Teron Francis. Those guys are always going to exist that show up, highly rated Louisiana kids gone after a year or two. That's always going to happen. But I'm willing to take that chance because I want Will Campbell and I want Emory Jones and I want Harlem Berry and I want Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. I want Tradez Green. I want those guys for 2, 3, 4 years. So I just want to watch. And it's very interesting to watch in this cycle because we know that Lane Kiffin signed Suntarine Perkins as a 5-star and one other. He signed 2 5-stars his whole time at Ole Miss. Only one from the state of Mississippi, Suntarine Perkins. And you look at this past class, and you had Big Rich Anderson, you had Lamar Brown, 2 5-stars from inside the state. Corey Barber just got his 5th star from Alabama, who he had gotten committed to Ole Miss. So feather in Lane's cap with Billy Glasscock and Charlie Weiss Jr., George McDonald. But look at what is on your plate for the next class. Number 1, you got Easton Royal at Brother Martin, who Lane Kiffin visited last week, who is the number 7 player nationally from New Orleans. He's committed to Texas. We'll see, but Easton Royal, right down the road, number 7 player in the nation. The number 9 player in the nation is Zyron Forstall, former Jesuit Blue Jay, now at IMG. Many think that USC is a strong player for him. Perhaps, but he's got roots in New Orleans. Then you've got Elijah Haven, who's the number 14 player in the country. Probably an Alabama lean to this point. Maybe LSU hasn't even talked to him. I don't know. But it doesn't change the fact that he's here. Ahmad Hudson is the number 17 player in the country. Number 1 tight end. Dad played basketball at LSU. I just rattled off 4 players in the top 17, and I'm not done because Albert Simeon is number 18. He's a 5-star. In the state of Louisiana this year, Easton Royal, Zyron Forstall, Elijah Haven, Ahmad Hudson, Albert Simeon. 5 5-stars on Rivals in the state. 5 of them. And then you added another piece to this puzzle, which I include as part of LSU's program. It's not a state thing. It's an LSU thing. And more importantly, right now, it's a Corey Raymond thing. The best corner, I don't care where he lives. Eli Ricks, California, got him. DJ Pickett, Florida, got him. Derek Stingley, 3 minutes down the road, got him. LSU with Corey Raymond gets the number 1 corner a lot, no matter where he's from. And oh, by the way, Joshua Dobson, number 1 corner, he's on campus this weekend. He's from North Carolina. He's a 5-star. Rivals rates him the number 5 player in the nation. And Corey Raymond has visited him. Now he's visiting LSU. And I've seen this story before. You have very close access based on your program basis. The state of Louisiana and Corey Raymond. 5 or 6 5-stars, depending on how you want to phrase it. I'll call it 6. 6 5-stars. Now, I know that Easton Royal's committed to Texas. I know Zyron Forstall is not expected at LSU right now. I know Elijah Haven doesn't even have LSU in his top 4. So I'm not saying, well, LSU's going to get 6 5-stars in this class. Wow, I'm not that silly. But it's just the access. And to dismiss that, I think, would be a grave error. And clearly, LSU is not. Lane Kiffin saw Albert Simeon this week. Lane Kiffin saw Ahmad Hudson this week. Lane Kiffin saw Easton Royal last week. Josh Dobson is on campus this week. So any inclination, which I don't think anyone truly had that, but just to shut the door on it, any inclination that Kiffin was going, well, I'll just get the 40 kids out of the portal every year. If 15 high school kids want to show up, like, we'll take them. But I don't even know where the freshman dorms are. Like, that ain't it. And this class of Louisiana ties is impressive. I wanted to take a look at the player rankings that Rivals put together for this year for the state of Louisiana and just see, like, what LSU's threshold is and what LSU needed to do this year. And I rattled off those top names to you because LSU did well in this first class, like LeVar Brown, Richard Anderson. You got Jabari Mack. Like, LSU did a good job of pulling those in. And if you look right on the back end of all those names that I was rattling off of Easton Royal and Zyron Forstall and Elijah Haven and Ahmad Hudson and Albert Simeon, you do have Pop Houston, who I talked to Preston Guy about in the first hour. And that's a guy that is committed. And LSU let go of its incumbent staff and the whole offensive staff left, and he stayed committed. And they hired Lane Kiffin, and he stayed committed. And it feels like he's the likely dude for this class for LSU to come in and be your quarterback in this class. And that's a guy that Rivals thinks highly of. And I think it's a guy that appears to fit into what Lane Kiffin wants to do pretty well. He's a good athlete. He's got a good enough arm. He's not tall, but that's okay. Trinidad Chambliss, not 6'4". Doing all right. So this is an interesting year. Lane Kiffin is a little bit late to the punch, but the good news is that it's not as important as it once was to sink your teeth in these relationships for 3-4 years. Now you got to bring the organization and what things look like financially to bear. And it appears LSU's really got that under wraps because that's what they did brilliantly during the portal cycle. You had to, when you were bringing those kids in, while they were transfers and they were in for a visit for 24 hours, 40 hours, 48 hours, whatever the case may be, when they were here for a quick amount of time and they had a speed dating deal going on where they were on to the next visit, if you didn't show them things, they were able to lay things out and get a lot of guys to commit on the spot. So clearly LSU is got a plan. Lane Kiffin alluded to that plan in his introductory press conference, and that's going to help them in establishing these relationships pretty quickly. These guys sign in 10 months. You've got 10 months to do what you can with these guys. Everybody feels like LSU has a great chance with Ahmad Hudson. The rest you're going to have to work. Pete Golding and Frank Wilson were with Albert Simeon today or yesterday, one of the two. You know that Frank Wilson is going to be in South Louisiana. I did notice in the picture, I did not see an Ole Miss logo visible anywhere on Frank. So that's an interesting, probably insignificant tidbit, but I found it. But I want to watch how Lane Kiffin puts together rosters. And I want to see how well he does in Louisiana. And I want to see how well he does in the high school ranks. And I want to see how many of those guys he can keep around. And I want to see how deeply LSU goes into the transfer portal year over year. I don't think you want to go in for 42 guys every year. I think you'd rather, instead of 42 and 15, go, what is 42 and 15 is 57. I think you'd probably rather go 25 and 32. Maybe. Does that sound better? It does to me. It's just a new era. I'm not willing to plant my flag on that. And I think it may be dependent upon how good the high school crop is and what the case may be. I heard an interesting thing that Jay Johnson brought up. He brought up the other day in an interview. He said, the thing about the portal is you can't control the market, like what goes in. And that's true in the high school ranks, but it feels like the high school ranks, you've got a longer time to evaluate. The portal, like, it happens and then it's over. And you have such a quick time. You can look at, okay, who are the edge guys that we've got some relationships with over the course of 2 years that are guys we might want to take. In the portal, it's like, all right, who's in? Can we get him on a visit now? Oh, he just committed to North Carolina? Crap. Next. Like, it's slower paced recruiting, so you feel like you have a lot longer at the buffet line. You got to go in the portal, and so that can be difficult at times. This is a monster opportunity, this class is, for LSU football. You're behind the 8 ball right now with a lot of these guys, with Texas commitments and not being in top 4s and transfers to IMG and all that. But still, you're new, you're flashy, you're fun, and you've got some cash to throw around. And if you can go out there and win a bunch of games this year, create great environments in Tiger Stadium, get these guys to visit, show them what it's about, maybe you flip some of these guys. It'll be interesting to see. We'll certainly be monitoring. One of the better classes that LSU High School that's a funny Freudian slip, that Louisiana High School has ever put out in this class. We'll see how well LSU can handle things. I just routed off 6 guys in the top 18 that you've got real connections to. So that's it for a little LSU football here. Our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish, and Shrimp. We will come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. Look, they got core values at Lifetime Roofing. Customer service, quality, and integrity. They take pride in setting themselves apart from other companies, and there are a lot of them in the roofing game. They're involved in the community. They're there helping in times of need, not just signing people up for new roofs. If you feel like there may have been some damage in the previous storms, no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, call Lifetime Roofing or check them out at lifetimeroofingla.com. Have them come out and inspect it. Maybe you don't need a new roof. Maybe you need a repair. They can do it. Maybe you just need a tune-up to fortify things. They can do that. Maybe you need a new roof. They can work with you and your insurance carrier to make sure that that process runs smoothly. That's their promise to you at Lifetime Roofing. And, oh, by the way, as of January 1st, if you need a new roof, a lifetime workmanship warranty is available from my friends at Lifetime Roofing. When you think Lifetime Roofing, think lifetime workmanship warranty. Check them out online, lifetimeroofingla.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish, and Shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish, and Shrimp. Invite you to swing on by for it would be a significantly late lunch at this point. If you're eating lunch at 3 o'clock, have at it. That is a late lunch. Early dinner, maybe. If you're feeding a family, got a birthday party or office party, gathering of any sort coming up, family reunion, or you're going to be tailgating out at the box in a couple of weeks, Corks loves to do catering. Keep them in mind for your catering events. Get you those big trays, the crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, shoestring fries, honey butter rolls. Got all the sauces your heart can desire. It's a fantastic spot on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. You'll see the catering options right there. Just give them a call. Give them a little notice. They are happy to help you out with all your catering needs. One of the more anxious moments in my existence is when the shop calls and says, hey, we've got an update on your vehicle.
Ooh.
That update could be great, like there's nothing wrong, come get it, or disaster, and anything in between. And I, because I don't know anything about vehicles, have no idea what they're going to tell me. No idea, and it's very anxious.
Well, I definitely feel you as somebody whose car was just in the shop for
Yep.
2 weeks. I just got it back like last week, so it's definitely it always feels like, oh, my car's in the shop, and it just feels like, why is it taking so long for my car specifically to get out the shop?
I'm not even worried about that. I'm just worried about what it's going to cost. Sometimes they say, hey, it's $81. Like, I don't want to pay $81, but like, if it's $81, like I'll make the mortgage. You come back and tell me it's $4,000. It's like, well, I don't want to pay $4,000. I don't really want to pay $81, but I certainly don't want to pay $4,000. And they could tell me anything. It's like the Seinfeld episode where George is like, I mean, they could do anything. It's that you need a new Johnson rod. I don't know what a Johnson rod is. Like, I have no idea. I hope the shop's not listening. They can take me for all I'm worth. It's not very much, but they could. I just have no clue what they're going to tell me. The last time I brought it in, they said, yeah, we didn't see any problems. Just come pick it up. And that was great. And I didn't have any problems for a while. And now It tells me the engine may have some overheating issues.
Ooh.
Hopefully they can just pour some coolant in there and just deal. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that I'm off the air in 5 minutes and 10 seconds, and I'm going to call him 30 seconds after that.
Okay.
And I'll either cry or rejoice, but probably very little in between.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be an anxious 5 minutes. We'll play Take It or Leave It, but I'm not going to be in a very Take It or Leave It mood.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Okay. Well. Yeah, I started. Also, you're not in the best mood. Yeah, I know. About to say you're not in the best mood, so I'm like, okay, well, Cooper Flag continues to make NBA history in his rookie season.
He's good.
As he scored a career high 49 points and 10 rebounds, setting the NBA record for most points scored by a teenager in an NBA game that was set by Cliff Robinson. March 9th, 1980 at 19 years old.
Really?
So, yeah, no, I thought LeBron would have had it.
Me too.
He does not. He has the youngest 50-point career game. So, whatever. So, is Cooper Flag living up to the hype? Take it or leave it?
I would have to take it. He's pretty good. I saw some highlights from last night. Obviously didn't watch the game,
man.
But he's good. The change of direction, the suddenness for somebody that long,
Yes.
and to get to the rim like that, he can shoot it
And
too.
he can shoot, though. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Is he can shoot.
They got him a good look in his last shot in college to win that game, and he just didn't make it. Short-armed it from the top of the key, but it doesn't seem to be bothering him now. I like the Mavs throwbacks too. They had the green and blue going yesterday.
Yes.
I liked it.
Yes, always clean. So, also to add that was like a retirement jersey night, and the guy that retired, I think it was Mark McGuire. Flag actually broke his record that night. But yeah, so he had the previous scoring record for like a rookie for the Mavericks.
Did you see that the Cavs did a throwback this week?
Yeah, with LeBron.
With LeBron's debut jersey?
Yes, like it's crazy because we're talking about a guy that's been playing since 2003.
I know. I was in high school. I remember it well. I was a sophomore in high school.
And I was 3 years old, so that make it
Great. Grand. Wonderful.
All right, so former Saints and now current offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, Clint Kubiak, is set to take either the Cardinals or Raiders head coaching job after the Super Bowl. This is confirmed today by Adam Schefter. So it's not really a take it or leave. It's kind of a would you rather. But would you rather take the Cardinals job or the Raiders job if you're Clint Kubiak?
I think it's got to be the Cardinals.
You take the Cardinals job?
Don't. I mean, Kyler's going to be gone. You'll start
gone.
over on that.
Number one pick, though, Raiders. Mendoza.
Yeah, I have no trust in that organization.
Yeah.
I know that they're in a brand new stadium and not in the garbage Coliseum like they were, and maybe things are a little bit different.
Vegas lifestyle.
Flynn tells horror stories about Oakland. Maybe I'm wrong. I could get on board with either one. Neither one would be in my top 25 choices
that's not
just
ideal.
in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
All right, so the AFC North is sending another quarterback to the Pro Bowl with Shedeur Sanders, as today Cincinnati Bengals backup quarterback Joe Flacco has been added to the AFC roster.
Wait a second.
Yes, and this is his first career Pro Bowl, by the way. So Joe Flacco entering his prime in year 19. Take it or leave it.
This is the stupidest I've ever heard. Okay. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say.
Joe Flacco, Shedeur.
Here's the take. This is the take. You can't even get mad. They took the game away. They run around on cones and try to hit
like
cardboard
football,
boxes and
dodgeball.
whatever. It doesn't matter. I guess the point would be if I'm a GM, I'm certainly not going to attach any financial gains to Pro Bowl appearances and
no
contracts.
incentives. Yeah.
Because if I got backup quarterbacks hitting contract incentives and I got Shedeur Sanders throwing more interceptions than touchdowns and I'm throwing contract incentives on that, we've lost the plot. So I'm not going to get upset about it because there's nothing to be upset about. It's a stupid, foolish exhibition of, it looks like the Office Dunder Mifflin games
it's
on
just
the
a get
island.
together at this point.
Yeah, but I can't be attaching money to it. Is the take.
Well, hey, man, so Joe Flacco, first Pro Bowl, year 19. I mean,
Look.
Hey, man,
Joe Flacco has had a great career, no doubt. Great career. I do like when Stabby, the comedian, talks about him in his Ravens crying videos.
Yes.
He's cool. We're done?
Yeah, we're done. That's it for Take It or Leave It, man.
That's it for us this week.
Pro Bowl Flacco.
We are, next week, we'll have a Monday show, and that'll be the last Monday show with no baseball until hopefully close to July, which I'm excited about. I will talk about baseball on Monday, but there won't be a game the following week. But we are 2 weeks away from opening day at the Box Fired Up 40. If you missed any of our show today, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Remember, Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints for those specific networks. I'm out of here. Musso's going to drive you home on AFR. We'll see you Monday. Have a great and warm weekend if you can. It's Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.